Well, I'm not trying to commit suicide by transphobe.
Angela, what do you eat on a daily basis?
What?
I've only seen you drinking like Sprite and soda drinks. What do you eat?
This is about databases?
Like, well, I'm sorry. What do you eat? Can you hear me?
With like,
Yeah.
I said, well, not very picky. I don't have much of a sense of taste.
It seems like you drink a lot of Mountain Dew.
Yeah, I have extreme fatigue from having 3 dead glands, all of which are related to metabolism.
And is that why you drink a lot of Mountain Dew?
Yes. Trying to use caffeine is a stimulant to stay awake.
And why do you want to stay awake?
So I'm not like sleeping all day. At least
Why,
stay awake some of the daylight hours.
why don't you sleep at night only?
Because I fall asleep all the time.
No, I'm saying why don't you sleep at night, right? Like right now, and be awake at night by day? Because it's like 11 o'clock right there right now.
It's only 11. And
Yeah.
I actually am going to go pretty soon.
Steam just doesn't make any good games anymore. Why would people make 8-bit games in this time period?
They're so fun.
I like 8-bit games.
There were 8-bit games back in the day that were good, for sure.
Just what they can do with it now is amazing.
But they haven't done anything with them. That's the point. They're just shit.
Shovel Knight, Brett.
What game are you talking? Have you played Shovel Knight?
Yeah, Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight, what the hell's that? What is that all about?
It's awesome. It's like a side-scrolling action-adventure type game. Like, did you ever play DuckTales for NES?
No, and I can't believe you even bring that up. I played Zelda, Gogol 13, Top Gun. I did those even.
They were horrible.
You played Gogo 13?
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Check out Shovel Knight. It's really fun.
Zelda was horrible.
My favorite game for the 64 was 007. I love those proximity mines, making people cry like piss ants in that thing. Oh, I loved it.
Man, if you picked that short midget, I hated you.
It didn't matter to me what character I picked. I just loved setting those little mines all over the place for people, man. It was horse.
Oh, those proximity mines? Yeah, I hated those.
Yeah, man, those were awesome.
Oh, I hated you.
That's the type of game. That's the type of game they should have had as a multiplayer for online. That would have been awesome.
Didn't they do that with the re-release for Wii? They re-released GoldenEye for Wii.
But did they make it multiplayer like that?
I kind of think they did. I just remember if you had the Pro pad, like you didn't have to use the stupid nunchuck thingies. Like you could use an actual controller with it.
I was extremely loyal to Nintendo for the longest time, all the way up to the Cube. But then I got into PlayStation. My first game on PlayStation was Soul Reaver, and I realized Nintendo don't have nothing for me anymore.
Yeah, I've got a Wii, but the only thing I've got that thing for is I modded it out, and it's got, you know, all the Nintendo and Sega and all that shit on it.
You lucky Nintendo, Brett. You lucky Nintendo wasn't a woman. Otherwise, they would have said you cheated on me.
Well, Nintendo was just going bad. PlayStation was coming up with all these like adult cool games and everything, and at the time Nintendo had what, Banjo-Kazooie? I was like, oh, get the hell out of here with that.
Final Fantasy VII Final Fantasy VII took over 99 hours and 99 minutes of my life.
I hear that.
I don't see how anyone plays that game. I hate that game.
What,
It's,
Final Fantasy?
I love Final Fantasy 7 all the way up into 10, but
11 sucked.
they kind of screwed it up though.
With that MMO that they tried to do with it, that was bad, and everything else since then's been pretty horrible.
Yeah,
Nukem was pretty cool on a LAN.
you know, a lot of people they moaned and groaned about old Squall, but I thought that Final Fantasy 8 was pretty good.
I thought it was awesome too. I've got a lot of memorabilia from that game, like some of the keychains that was on the end of Squall's gun, and a couple of books about it. I loved 8. I thought 8 was so good.
You know, I had just about a year ago discovered after watching some Final Fantasy videos that apparently Squall died early in the game and that you're literally doing a dream the whole time. I had no idea that. I was like, what the hell?
Well, it's kind of like at the end of 10.
Guess
Once you get to the end of the game, it's like, are you kidding me? All this has been not actually happening. They're not gonna fall in love together anymore. What the fuck? It was a deep moment, man.
See, that's why I could never get into Final Fantasy, because I can't keep up with that. I'm sorry. You can't tell me this whole Final Fantasy franchise is supposed to make sense when it has different characters every single time.
Well, that's just it. They're not sequels. It may be Final Fantasy 1 through 12, but there's no sequels.
See, that doesn't make any sense. Why do that?
Because they're all different tales told from a different fantasy realm. They all have similar elements, but it's all different stories.
I'm sorry, no.
It's like listen to the different legends of, your history or religion or whatever. There's all different versions of. There's one book that has all these different stories in it.
Well, they did try. They did try once to do like a sequel of another one, the females of the one of Titus, and that was horrible. That made me retire Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Final Fantasy X-2 was really bad. All that gunplay and Pain and I mean Pain that was her name was Pain. Her name was Pain, and she was bad. She was a horrible character. Sexy, but horrible.
That's funny. But this is exactly why I need games that just keep me focused.
On the 18th of this month, Elder Scrolls Online is going to go free. I know some of you probably played the beta and you thought, oh, this sucks goat balls, but the game is actually good. So I think you ought to give it a chance. I'm going to be What? What's so funny?
I think I'll
It did. Beta sucked.
I think I'll stick to traditional Elder Scrolls.
It's a good game, though, man. It's going to be free anyway. What's it going to hurt you?
I might actually check out the Knights of the Old Republic one because they made it free to play.
MMOs are okay.
Yeah, I said try it. I agree with you. I'm not a big MMO kind of person. I don't play enough, so like all the people that I play with, they game way more than I do. So if I get on it, I don't play for a week. Next thing you know, I'm so out of my league with everybody that I'm friends with on there.
The Star Wars The Old Republic, I played that for a little while, and at first, when you first start playing it, you're like, man, this is excellent, this is cool. The problem is that once you get out of like the land area, you end up in just like a real closed-in type of city crap and deal, and it's repetitive looking. And then when you finally get your damn ship and go to other planets, they have like maybe 5 different type of creatures at the best. At the most. So you're experiencing a whole new world with only 5 damn monsters on it? What kind of planet only has 5 creatures on it?
So you might as well just play the original Knights of the Old Republic.
Right. It's kind of like the Lord of the Rings and stuff. You fight a deer, a bear, and a flying bug, and that's about damn near it.
Yeah, that's funny.
You gotta imagine. I mean, you're playing the Star Wars universe. You expect when you go to a different world that you're gonna see all kinds of weird shit. You know, three-eyed monsters playing harmonicas, something.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah,
point
you got to
that.
consider there's thousands of different species in the Star Wars universe. They could have
Yeah,
tapped
that's what I was
several.
thinking.
Say what, Mac? I didn't catch you. What are you trying to say?
No, I was thinking like if that's the case with the Star Wars franchise, that doesn't make sense considering characters and different kinds of aliens there are on that in Star Wars to begin with.
That's probably the limitations of the game.
Doom had pretty good monsters.
Well, we're talking about it. You know, I've played older Star Wars games, and it just doesn't make sense to me that they had more creatures on all those single-player versions, but you play an MMO, billions of dollars, and BioWare did it, and all they could come up with was 5 damn monsters for a planet.
Yep.
There's something wrong there.
Hell, even that horrible ass Jango Fett bounty hunter game had more variations than that.
Yeah,
And
then,
that was a bad game.
I think that's one of the big reasons why a lot of individuals keep on hopping back on that damn World of Warcraft, even though the pandas damn near killed that game.
My mic doesn't seem to be working. Damn it.
I heard you.
Oh, I'm here. I'm audible? Oh, okay. I'm
Yes,
just
sir.
boring. All right. Cool. Thanks.
I mean, that's what you get, FUD, from like muting people in the past. I mean, that's payback.
Yeah, karma's a bitch. Damn that Zeus. And all the Nordic gods.
You know, they're the ones that cause the trouble on the internet anyway.
Loci is the worst of them. You would think that by being a Loci devotee, I would catch a break, but no. Anyway, Doom has some cool monsters. And then, of course, although my favorite game still has been Lemmings. Especially when you get frustrated and you get to hit the nuke button and they all, they all start counting down. It's like, oh no! And they pop, 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 blow up the whole damn thing. Yeah, Lemmings, awesome game.
Now, what what MMOs do you play, Brett? Because you say you play Elder Scrolls.
I did play Warcraft and everything, but the thing about that game that annoyed me was they had plenty of variety. That wasn't the problem. It was the people. They were total pricks. Every time you go into a dungeon or something like that, they're like, unfortunately, I had an extremely powerful character, and I would be stomping a mud hole in ass as I do. People get aggravated at me because the tanks were weak, ridiculous. In fact, I was so powerful I could go into a dungeon at my level and practically wipe the whole damn thing myself. Didn't even need any kind of assistance. The game used to be a lot more challenging in the beginning, but it started getting more weaker, and I think they did that more for, I don't know, the kids out there. So they kind of destroyed the game that way. All right, any other topics? I know how video game talk can really kill a chat room very quickly, so I try to get away from it as quickly as possible.
Well, I keep dying on my game, so.
What do you guys think of all the police shootings? I mean, I guess they've been around for a while, but what do you guys think about what's happening and kind of the movement to at least bring attention to them?
Well, I
Man.
actually did a video on a particular situation recently that's going to probably cause a lot more trouble. Another teenager killed, so it's rough. Of course, as you know, I don't live too far away from the Ferguson area, so that was bad news for us. Yeah, these cops. Somebody needs to get slapped in the mouth, I'm thinking. Be right back.
I think we should either disarm them, or there needs to be some type of method of getting them some kind of getting them kicked, maybe getting them fired. If you're violating the Constitution, it should be a good idea. Yeah, I mean, some type of way to either disarm them and maybe they get their guns back if they can prove that they're not like a danger to society.
I mean,
All
but
of them seem to be
our
tricked.
part is telling which ones are a danger to society.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe it should be one of those things where, like, we can give them stun guns or like tasers. Not stun guns. I meant to say tasers.
They all have tasers. They
Yeah,
all have stun guns.
No, yeah, they're right. They all have tasers, and basically be disarmed until they can kind of prove otherwise.
See, but I mean, at this point, that's still hard to do. I mean, that's still hard to do. You can still kill somebody with a taser, but I mean, even with that, it's still hard to do because I mean, there's just some people who like be hopped up on that Beetlejuice that tasers just ain't gonna cut it. Sometimes you just gotta shoot this dude.
That's a good point. Yeah.
No, man, I shouldn't.
Pretty much like, I think even if you're not armed, if you are not armed, and you're killed by a cop, then that alone is a problem, and that either deserves a firing or I mean, I think ideally a criminal prosecution for killing somebody, for murder, of course, and then. Yeah, I mean, at a minimum, there needs to be some type of punitive. Like, in a lot of societies, it's not so much that you get in trouble, but it's so much that your colleagues will be shamed by you. And so if they disarm the police, or at least, like, for some period of time, say you're not allowed to carry firearms, that would be a good way of, like, okay, I better not kill an unarmed guy because, then, like, my buddies will also be unarmed. Like it's like shaming. It's like shaming. Like people do this like in like track things, like or like in sports teams. They say like, okay, if nobody here runs like under a certain pace, then everyone's gonna have to do like 100 push-ups or whatever.
And that would almost sound like a good plan if people actually cared about that. Crap.
But I mean, that's not gonna happen.
Because some people. I'm just saying, it is a jacked up situation that people. I mean, because it is sad that like someone's son, daughter, sister, brother, cousin, whatever, died in that situation. But to be young, and I know that those situations is jacked up. What I'd be looking at is some of these stupid people out here that be fighting against the police, and then black people are like sitting there, why do you have to kill him? I mean, the dude was seriously shooting at the police or doing something like really stupid.
I know.
Why in the world?
Like, in like every one of these cases, like the guy's up to no good. Clearly, like except for the Eric Garner one, and in every one of these cases, the guy's up to no good. But I think it still comes down to if he's not armed, then there's really no reason to kill somebody.
Yeah. So I mean,
but also, cops are armed. You don't go assault them.
No, I would agree. I would agree. You don't do that. I would agree with you. But I think there's two things. Number one, that it's that what the argument is twofold. Number one, that no matter what, if the person is not armed, you do not use a gun. And the second thing is that the argument that's going to come up, and it already has come up, is if the cop is attacking you, then you have the right to defend yourself. And I think I'm actually afraid that that'll come up, because if that comes up, then I mean,
a lot more dead people.
Exactly, and that's scary. I don't want that to happen. But I mean, that's already kind of picked up. I mean, people are saying there was 2 cops that were killed in New York, and I'm afraid that that argument, and it's very easily made. It's a morally equivalent argument that you have the right to defend yourself against police, and that's lawlessness.
That's the Old West.
See, before when they like, cause I saw a video on Facebook. My dad showed me that this dude was like on some drug, and his idiot friend was like recording the whole thing because he was fighting against two police officers, and they were tasering him and spraying him with mace, but none of that affected him. And he seriously like was boxing these two police officers, and one of them like fell down like knockout style, just straight up. Ooh, oh, I'm down, coach. I can't get up. I can't get up. Coach, help me.
Clearly, like the guy was out of control, right? I mean, I don't think anyone with the right mind would say that these people were not, like this guy who was killed, the homeless guy. I think his name was like Africa, was not acting a fool, right? Clearly. But like, if he wasn't armed, I just don't see. I still can't, in my mind, think like shooting him needs to be justified. Like, there's 5 cops. I think it was 4 or 5. You're telling me 4 or 5 cops can't hold down one person? And like, these are big dudes. This guy's a freaking homeless guy, man. You can just one guy could hold him down. Just throw your full body weight on him.
Yeah, I agree with you on that because when I got arrested for what I did, they had called backup on me, and I thought that was kind of funny.
What'd you get arrested for? What did you get arrested for?
I got arrested for disturbing the peace. I was preaching the gospel in front of this restaurant. I was on the sidewalk, and I told a police officer, said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "Hey, I'm just exercising my right of freedom of speech, freedom of religion. I'm just out here on the sidewalk preaching the gospel." They said, there was a complaint called about you disturbing the peace, and I was like, I understand that, but I mean, I'm on the sidewalk. I'm not on their property, so they can keep on eating or doing whatever they're doing. But they basically told me I needed to leave, otherwise they was gonna arrest me, and I didn't leave because I clearly wasn't breaking any laws. So they arrested me, and they had called backup, and there was like 6 police officers surrounding me. And I was like, "What are you calling backup for? I'm not armed. I'm not doing anything. I'm just saying I won't leave. You're seriously calling backup on me? Like, dude, you're twice my size." And I just thought that was funny. At least in that situation, that he had to call backup on me, like as if I'm going to do anything. I mean, I think the only thing that I had on me that you could possibly consider a weapon was a bullhorn, and that is what it. And I had put it down. I had stood back and just, I was just saying, hey, I don't need the bullhorn. Just let me use my voice, but
So you were preaching with the bullhorn.
What were you charged with?
Yeah.
What were you charged with?
Disturbing the peace.
And was it actually held up? Like, did you actually get that on your record?
Yeah. Like, you can't get that in Texas. They don't play. Even if you got it reversed, it still will be on your permanent record.
Well, it won't. The conviction won't be on your record, but the arrest that you were arrested for that will be.
Which is stupid, but I understand where that came from.
Yeah, but look, I'm sorry, I don't know what the problem is here. You're black, you live in America, you're obviously going to be fucking picked on. You know what I mean? The whole system's against you. So what you complaining about? Why don't you just move somewhere else? That's what they're trying to tell you, isn't it? Why don't you come to Europe? We love black people in Europe. Come over there and live here. Come on.
I can't tell if you're joking or being serious. They don't love black people in Europe. Are you being serious or joking?
Yeah, did I not have enough emphasis on being sarcastic? I don't know. I wasn't typing, I'm speaking. There's nobody understands sarcasm anymore. I don't know what the fuck's going on in the world, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, sorry, I think our style of humor is different.
Love his accent. Come on! Don't fail me, man.
No, but I'm saying, Matt, yeah, I get you, man. I understand. You know, some people will question you. You know, why are you saying these things? But yeah, it's your experience of life in America, and you're a black guy, and you know, probably most of the people who are in positions of power over you are going to be white, and they're not all going to be racist, but there's a high percentage of them. They can't help it. You know what I mean? I mean, it's endemic throughout history that people don't like people who don't look the same as them. It's not really their fault. We try to put into position, you know, laws and rules and regulations to stop, you know, racism, but really it's genetic. This is the problem. You know what I mean? It's fucking genetic with a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you on there because I didn't think it was I mean after I mean this might even be racist too, but I had an issue when when my parents had showed me Roots for the first time, and I was so sick of it that I almost felt like every white person on the world was like that. And it made me it made me almost like look at white people differently, like for a very good while, very good for a very good time.
Well, historically, I can give you a few historical sort of little innuendos or stories, right? I mean, when the Americans came to Europe to help us to fight the Nazis, you know what I mean, in the Second World War in the 40s, you know, black people were seen as just, you know, another American. You know, to us, most people in Britain just seen you as, you know, an American who came here, you know. And that kind of pissed off the white Americans, because a lot of the white Americans came from places where they kind of didn't like black people having the same rights and the same access to, you know, normal life as they had, you know. And when they were seeing that in Europe, you know, in Britain, in the build up to the invasion of Europe, that the black American soldiers were being treated by the British the same as the white Americans, a lot of them were kind of pissed off about it, you know, and a lot of them were arrested for causing fights over it. And they couldn't understand how the British police Bobby, you know what I mean, as we used to call them, would arrest them for starting a fight with a black guy. They couldn't understand, you know, it just couldn't sink into their brain that they would be arrested if they started a fight with a black guy, you know, and other people, British people around, you know, being witnesses, said, well, he's the guy that started it. They didn't understand why they were getting arrested, you know, the white Americans. They thought, well, in America, everybody would just say the black guy started it, and that would be it. He would get arrested. They were pissed off that they were getting out, and I think a lot of black Americans, after going through the Second World War and meeting people in Europe who treated them, you know, the way they treated the white Americans who came and fought on their side, you know, treated them with respect. The respect was due soldiers who gave, gave up their liberty to come here and fight, you know. And I think they took that back, and I think that was a boost, I think, anyway, to the American fight, you know, the black American fight for rights in America. They've seen that it was possible for white and black people to respect each other. In Europe, they've seen it, and they just were trying really hard to get America to understand that as well, you know.
Yeah, America is here today. And welcome LB and Jacob and Wolf.
Hey. Hello.
That's an interesting picture there, Wolf.
Thank you.
A little over the top much?
It's pretty freaking awesome. That's why I like it.
Yeah, he just wants to, let you know who he truly worships when he says he doesn't have a god. He's just, he's just JK. He's just joking.
I'm the cosmos incarnate, bro.
Is that a picture of Law, Mac?
Did you just say what? No, his character?
Yeah, it looks like Law from Tekken.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah.
Martial law.
Mm. I thought that's who that was. So what are you guys up to?
Well, I'm actually here cosplaying. I'm cosplaying as Billy Wiz. You could probably Google him from the Beano in Britain, Billy Wiz. He's got a little bit of a little twist left on his head, you know what I mean? And when I shaved my head the other day, I thought, I'll just do a little homage to Billy Wiz, you know what I mean, from the Beano, and I'll leave a little quiff on my head, But apparently people don't think it's funny, you know what I mean?
Interesting. Very interesting.
Well,
I'm cosplaying as a Christian apologist, Calvinist. Actually, I'm not cosplaying at all. That's what I am.
Nice.
It's a horrifying costume.
Funny thing is, most people on my side of the fence would probably say the same things.
I would find that costume a bit tight to get into myself, Yeah.
Right. You know what's funny? Ever since I've had my teeth done on Google Hangouts, it seems like the whiteness is radiant by like 50 degrees. It's like.
Yeah, my teeth are getting done, but they're still out. I'm waiting on them being posted back to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was talking to somebody at work. Like my teeth in real life are nowhere near as white as they are on Google Hangouts for some reason. I don't know what it is. It's like the light from the computer screen just reflects off of it.
Hey, they just want to brighten your day when you do these Google Hangouts. When they put you in high definition, your teeth is
right.
Your teeth is high definition.
Right. And it's even worse because I just bought like a brand new 23-inch flat panel LED True HD monitor, so I'm like the size of an actual person on the monitor.
That is ridiculous. We need you to share some of that.
Yeah, no. It wasn't as nearly as expensive as I thought it would be, though. It was only like $150.
Lord, strike him. Strike
him. Cool thing is it's got an HDMI port on the back of it, so I can plug my PS3 into it and play.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Wait. You got a PS4?
A PS3. More of a PC gamer.
What games you got on PS3?
I bought my parents a 50-inch fucking smart TV. It's a Wi-Fi TV, you know what I mean? So I can connect to it and, I can go and watch my streams and shit like that, YouTube and stuff on it, But, I'm 53, my parents are like, in their 70s and 80s, you know what I mean? They haven't got a fucking clue how to use a smart TV, you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, I should have kept the 400 quid, because I bought like a 900 quid smart TV for 400 quid at Christmas, you know what I mean? Because it was like on sale. I got a 900 quid TV for 400 quid, you know what I mean? I'm thinking I should just have kept the 400 quid. By now I could have bought myself a fucking £800 PC, you know what I mean? And I could have 2 PCs, and I could be streaming and watching my stream and talking and chatting and doing what I want to do, rather than my
Good
parents.
Lord, I don't want to try to pick up an 800-pound PC. That's ridiculous.
Well, not pound weight, 800 quid.
I know. I was
I'm just saying,
my regular
if I hadn't developed my
John,
parents so much, you know what I mean, I could be selfish and be doing what I want to do, rather than them having a 900 quid fucking smart TV they don't know what to do with. Every time something happens on it, I've got to go through and sort it out for them. I should just have bought them a normal fucking TV, you know what I mean? Sometimes, you know, kids, not as kids, we just try too hard to please our parents, I think, you know what I mean?
Hey, Nadia, what did you open the room for? What's the topic?
Cisheteropatriarchy is the opiate of the masses.
What in the world is that?
Is that some kind of,
I'm pretty savvy when it comes to large words, and I have never heard that before.
no, I'm just wondering if it's some kind of
Sexual
foreign Korean food or something, you know what I mean?
I'm sorry, what, Nadia?
The cisgender heterosexual patriarchy.
I've looked that word up in every dictionary. It does not exist. Nadia made it up.
It's a compound.
I'm calling Nadia
Right.
out on that. She made it up.
Can you expound on that a little bit more, Nadia? I'd like to get into something.
People with made up sexual
I've got to go to bed in like 2 hours, so I'm trying to get my apologetic stuff in.
Sexual orientation. That's what's going on here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess in various senses he sort of sex discrimination, patriarchy affairs, extend into the various norms with respect to sexual partnering, sexual orientation, and also gender identity, and I suppose largely denial of transition or whatever.
So you're talking more specifically about the denial of a person's wish to transition from one gender to another?
Essentially, yes.
This is interesting, a topic that I've never really gotten a chance to talk to anybody about, so I think this would be a great topic. So it seems that the one central thing surrounding this whole issue is really how to define a gender. That seems to be like the elusive thing, at least, with the Republicans and the liberals, and I have yet.
I've just got to say, Republicans and liberals and conservatives, they can't even agree how to define a conservative, a Republican, or a liberal. Never mind what a sexual orientation of a person is. So this is why I would rather not talk about this. I would rather go and talk about politics somewhere where we can argue about crap that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Well, I think this is very. I think this is very relevant.
Republican, you can't put a badge on and say you're metrosexual or cross-gender or cross-fucking. This is not a conversation that I can.
Shit, I was gonna ask Brent if he was metrosexual. He seems kind of like it.
No, I am interested in this topic because I think it's very relevant to like one of the major issues in society today. But so I know different people have different criteria by which they use to judge or to define gender. Nadia, how do you personally define gender?
Well, I would say it's a complex of traits that are associated with, essentially each other, but in the norm. So, for instance, breast development, evolutionary lens, things like the bed nucleus strata terminalis, hypothalamus, and so on being smaller, and right forceps minor, right cortical spinal, whatever.
Right. So in other words, it's the physiology. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Excess chromosomes and genitals, of course, are the two obvious ones people name often.
I got you. So in other words, you're defining gender as certain physiological traits that are exclusive to one category specifically, that is mutually exclusive to another category of human, right? So in other words, it's just a more complicated way of saying that men typically have a certain physiology with regard to sexual organs or chromosomes, hormones, that sort of thing, and women, in fact, have a separate category, that sort of thing. Is that correct?
Mostly, except I wouldn't say there's exclusivity to it.
I gotcha.
There's like clusters and so on.
But you could say the same thing about liberal or democratic-minded people compared to right-wing fundamentalists. You know what I mean? Because right-wing fundamentalists are going to hate the idea of a woman having any kind of control over her sexual reproduction, whereas it's her choice, and that's right. The Constitution, the choice, So it's basically, that's what I'm saying. The sexual agenda that people talk about, this crazy idea that the last thing we're going to end up arguing about is genderization. You're wrong, because we're still going to be arguing. Even after we sort genderization out, we're still going to be arguing about conservative and Democrat.
Well, I don't think this really has anything to do with conservatives or Democrats, but I would just like to say that I am a hardcore conservative, and I have no problem at all with a woman being in control of her own physiology. Now, if you're making a reference to things such as abortion, I do take umbrage with that, because I don't think that is an issue of a woman's physiology. That's the issue of another.
That's what I'm fucking talking about. That's what I'm. How can you agree they can have control over the choices about their body, but not about whether they can control being pregnant or not? What the hell are you on about? That's exactly what that means.
Okay. No, I agree with Jacob, because at that point it's not about the woman; it's also about the child too. The
right.
child
That's
there we go.
Right.
It has
So
every.
I was trying to make a point, and look, I try to take a very logical stance, like a non-emotional stance. The point is not to get anybody riled up or needlessly offend, right? I'm just giving my view out there. To me, so we hear this war drum beat a lot in society today, right? It's you shouldn't be able to tell a woman what to do with her own body, right? Now, as far as that's concerned in a certain context, I'm absolutely thrilled, right? I agree with that. But that's not the issue. That's really not the issue. So imagine that you had a man who was in fact subjugating another woman, was doing something terrible to a woman, was beating a woman, was raping a woman, right? If the man made the same argument and said, "You can't tell me what not to do with my body," you would say, "Well, no, that's completely wrong." You would say, "No, that's completely wrong," because the issue, you would say, "Hold on a second, excuse me, I just want to finish my point really quick. Just really quick. I just want to finish my sentence. Can I please finish my sentence?
What if we told men? Am I moderating?
All I was going to say is that if we were to use the same argument in a certain situation in which a man was subjugating a woman, the answer or the response would be, well, no, because that's not about what the man. It's not about the man's body, what he's doing with his body. It's about what the man is doing with his body to something or someone else. And I give the same response. So in the issue of abortion, I have no problem not, in certain contexts being like, no, you shouldn't tell a woman what to do with her body. But if it has something to do with an unborn child, yeah, I think that sort of takes that out of the category of subjugating a woman and telling her not what she can or can't do with her own body. Now, the way typically in society that people try to get around this is by redefining terms. They will define what's in the woman's body as if it is of less value because it's less developed, right? Because it's not considered, in fact, a fully developed human being. So we take this arbitrary stance where now value of life is based upon that which is underdeveloped. Now let's take that criteria, right? In the womb is the only place where we as a society would end up using that same criteria. Would I be justified in killing retarded people because they're less developed than I am? No.
You can't extrapolate it out that far, though. You can't take it out that far,
though. I'm not talking about killing a person.
Apologetics always do that.
What's wrong with religious people? You are trying to say that sperm, when it meets an egg, that's a person. It's not a person. It's a lump of cells.
Well, I think that's what I was going to say, is that I think, to me, that's where the abortion issue comes down to, because I don't think even people that are the strongest pro-choice advocates would say that they don't care about killing a child. The argument is, where does life begin? And it's like, if we can't ever agree on that, you know, if you say life begins at conception, period, that's it, then of course I would expect that you would think that abortion is wrong. But if you don't agree with that, then, you know, to me that's where the whole argument is. It's because I don't think people are disagreeing on whether it's okay or not to kill a child or a baby. They're agreeing on when is it an actual human life, you know.
Okay.
That has a lot to do with the.
It also depends.
Hold on, Jacob. Can I just say something here?
Well, you've said a lot, so go ahead.
No, I've not been able to express or say exactly what I'm trying to say here, right? We're not talking about abortion here. This is what I'm saying. The problem we have here is women controlling whether they get pregnant in the first fucking place. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about. Can you shut up and let me finish? I'm not talking about women getting pregnant and then us having to kill babies in the womb. No, because of whatever reason. That financial, medical. What I'm talking about is we are even fighting to get religious people to understand that we've got to stop the sperm and the egg meeting. And that will reduce and get rid of all the problems we have of having to abort fucking fetuses. If the egg doesn't get fertilized, then we don't have pregnancy.
Well,
right?
obviously.
So what we've got to make sure is we educate our kids not to fucking have sex without a condom. We have to tell them that condoms are good. We have to educate them on how the process of sperms meeting eggs is the problem.
I'm not disputing that.
I agree with that.
But this is the problem. We have so many people who don't even want to have money put towards that education. And
right, they want abstinence-only education, and
look,
then that
if you look at the numbers,
I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those people. Yeah, look, you're arguing a straw man. I am not one of those people. Now, the only issue I would take with is public schools teaching this, and the only reason why I take issue with that is because public schools suck. Right? I'm not making an argument. You know, I'm not making an argument against educating children. I'm not making an argument against condoms. I'm not making an argument against contraception at all. I mean, I'm a Christian theist. I'm not against that. I agree with you, right? I think that would be a very good step that both Christian theists and atheists.
You can't help being a fucking asshole who believes all that shit. You know what I mean? And you know. Oh, I don't think that this is bad. I just don't want you to do anything against the bullshit that I fucking believe in. You know what I mean? You believe in bullshit. You don't believe in bullshit. And you don't want to fucking live up to the fucking fact that you believe in bullshit. You know what I mean? Your shit doesn't work. Science fucking works. Religion is bullshit. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Just really quick. Does anyone find it really funny that he kind of looks like Robin Williams? Or is that just me?
That's cool.
You don't.
That's a cool fucking observation.
I can actually
He was going like this.
No, I totally see it now.
He looks like Robin Williams a little.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
anyway, thank you for that very logical argument. Use that in.
Well, it's as
quotation
logical as being, you know, religious and thinking that, you know, some super fucking invisible being's going to answer my wishes and, you know. Yeah, but
Oh, you are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. You look so much like Robin Williams. It's not even funny.
So was the topic abortion?
Jesus, Paul is energetic as fuck tonight.
Nah, B, it just kind of took a tangent off into abortion.
Yeah, no, I was just sort of stating my position, and then Robin Williams over there decided to go all Patch Adams on me. So yeah, I
thought it was more Mrs. Doubtfire. That looked a little bit more like Mrs.
there you go,
Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire. Yeah. It's so funny, like how much these topics just raise the emotions in people. Like, it's really hard to get logical arguments across from both sides because both people on my side of the fence, on the Christian theist fence, are really emotional. I mean, they're extremely emotional. And then there are people on the liberal side who are just extremely emotional. So if it's this or it's homosexual marriage or if it's whatever, it's like it's always really hard to get a good conversation going about it.
I mean, well, abortion is one of the things that.
The human brain isn't a logical thing. I mean, we do jump off in tangents and stuff all the time. So it's hard to have a constructive, logical conversation about any one subject without it actually leading to, you know, well, this springs off into this and then it leads on to that, and then the next thing, we're talking about a completely different thing compared to what you started off with.
Yeah, like 10 minutes ago we were talking about video games.
Jacob, really?
I wish we would talk about video games because I stream video games. That's what I do. You know what I mean? I play video games about 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours a day. You know.
You got a Twitch?
Yeah, I'm on Twitch. Twitch TV is Tess. YouTube is Tess Space B. At the moment, I'm streaming quite a lot of Elite Dangerous. But if you look back in my videos, I've done a lot of videos, you know what I mean? Even point.
Twitch, what's that?
What's what?
Twitch, you said Twitch, is that what you said?
Yeah, it's for streaming games.
It's Twitch TV, yeah.
Streaming what of game? Like you watch people play a game?
Like gameplay.
Live, and you can chat to them. I've not got a double monitor at the moment. I gave my computer away to my niece, and I'm saving up to buy a second computer.
Oh, okay, I see.
So
why do you want to watch somebody else playing a game? Why
Dude,
is that?
it's so fun. Like, they've got this whole thing called Awesome Games Done Quick. It's a big charity organization, and these dudes speed run through games. I mean, we're talking like Mario, 4 minutes. You know, I mean, these guys just blow through games. They're explaining like all the glitches that they're hitting and stuff along the way. It's not like just watching somebody play. Like, they're telling you, well, if you watch, it's going to be a double clip frame rate right here, and if I can clip off the wall, I can bounce over this, and then bam, level's done in 2 minutes. Regularly a 45-minute level.
I like
really fun shit to watch.
Hold on, I like Rooster Teeth where these they got this one video right for instance, Rage Quit, where they got Slender, right? Okay, so these two guys are playing it, and one of them's like British, the other one's American, and they're like going about playing it, and like the American dude's just yelling at he's yelling at the British one. He sounds like freaking Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist, right? He's just so pissed, like, it's not Skyrim, you fucking moron. Like then they see him and like they're so fucking scared that they fuck up the mouse and like they freaking drop it off the table, like they're saying, Calvin, let go of the fucking mouse.
I'd like to see some footage of some people playing in WoW Arena. I bet that could get pretty heated really quick.
It's out there. It's all on Twitch.
Can only imagine. I've never heard of Twitch. I'll have to check that out. I like
My
how
kids
we went from video game. Well, first we went to transgender, and then we went to gender identity, and then we went to video games, and we went to abortion, and we went to Robin Williams, and now we're back to video games.
My kids watch people playing Minecraft on YouTube. And I can't understand the hours and hours they'll watch people playing Minecraft. I know.
Now, like, it's fun playing Minecraft, but I mean, watch like, oh, look at me, I'm going to build this house now to my elevator.
Yeah, I couldn't enjoy watching Minecraft, but I did make a lot of YouTube videos on Minecraft when I was real into building out glass and stuff, you know.
Right. I think they watch it to learn how to build stuff. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. I was showing people how to build, not circles, but as best you could, build like domes. Because obviously it's edged, but so if you build them big enough though, and you're far enough away, they look like a smooth circle. But
right.
You can see it's made out of blocks. But I mean, to work out how to make a circle out of blocks, it's a fucking hard calculation. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of work. But I was into doing that when I was doing the Minecraft thing. But yeah, I mean, the games that I'm playing them out, Arma 3, Daisy, Fallout New Vegas, H1Z1, which I really, I'm sorry I spent the money on, Interstellar Marines, XCOM Enemy Unknown. But I mean, I've got like about 30, 40 games that I've streamed live online. It's what I do. I'm 53, but I've been working hard all my life, building fucking railways and drilling for oil and all that shit, you know. And now that I can sit back and do fuck all, I love playing games, you know.
I never thought I'd say this, but there actually is a better game than Minecraft with the same mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
I just discovered this game about, 2 months ago. It's called 7 Days to Die.
No, I hate it, no.
7 Days to Die. So basically, the way that this game works is you can choose to either have it completely randomly generated, or you can have its prefab city that it has built in, right? Well, basically, you have all of Minecraft's mechanics in it. Everything's completely drillable, everything's completely buildable, everything's completely craftable, but the point of the game is to survive against massive random hordes of zombies. So not only are you building like in Minecraft, it has HD graphics, but you're shooting zombies in the face and picking up random loot. It's amazing.
Two of my friends in Scotland, they've got a compound and they do all that stuff, but I can't get into it. It's too what do you call it? Fucking hell, you know, it's not realistic enough for me, and it's just RNG. It's just RNG. That's all it is. Random generator. You know what I mean? I like stuff where you have to put your mind to it. That's why I'm playing a lot of Elite Dangerous at the moment, because it's really about me making changes to the spaceship I bought and making decisions about where I fly to, which star systems I go to, taking the proper notes of what they sell and what they buy, the prices they buy and sell, and then every system I go to after that, I've got to remember that, write it down, have a cheat sheet so I can make money by buying and selling between star systems. I don't have to just be a trader, but I'm doing that at the moment to make credit so I can buy ships that I can also use then to go and rob other traders, or be a bounty hunter and kill people who rob traders, or be a explorer and find star systems nobody else has ever found yet. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. I think they've got billions and billions and billions of stars that people haven't even discovered yet, and the universe that they've made.
I like weed.
Sorry?
I like weed.
I like weed as well. Okay. I like coke. I like fucking MDMA. I like MDMA and LSD together at the same time. You know what I mean?
Well, that
We're
explains your
playing a nightclub dancing to fucking dance music. It's fucking amazing. You know, MDMA and acid is the fucking best.
Does that explain why you're kind of acting like Charlie Sheen right now?
Yeah, it's mixed between Charlie Sheen and Robin Williams.
What is,
Yeah, because
is it?
there was like a mood shift in between there.
What's
Like
the
there was some
legalization
anger
status
and then happiness.
in Scotland? Is it legal over there for weed?
Yeah, at age 4.
Yeah, no, Europe, we
Obviously.
illegal in Britain. You know what I mean? You cannot have any weed at all in Britain. It's totally illegal. You know what I mean? But we don't target people and stick them in jail for 100 years for smoking weed. We just fine them.
Tersh, you're going to have to teach me your accent, because I've been trying to use it at work, use Scottish or Irish accent at work, and it just doesn't come out.
Watch Star Trek, you'll pick up.
Well, the other day I was at work, and I work at a factory, and we have to call over the intercom when we need help, and I work on this line called Hub 2. So I went up to the intercom, and I called for this guy named Dwayne Lamont. So I got up there, and I was like, Dwayne Lamont, you're needed on Hub 2. Dwayne Lamont, you're needed on Hub 2. And all the guys were like, what the hell were you doing?
First things first. Where's your shutter? I got
The problem is when you start talking like that, they don't know whether you're Scottish or Irish. That's the fucking problem. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to perfect
you
my accent
fuckers,
there.
you fuckers are confusing. Like,
They
seriously,
are.
I can't tell you apart. Like, it's like both of you guys can talk, and like I can't freaking tell the difference. Like, it's almost hard.
I've been
Like,
watching
I would
Doctor Who
kind
for
of-
20 years.
I rate you by the hair that you have.
Did you say? What did you say? What did you say?
I've been watching Doctor Who for 20 years. I understand it just fine.
Oh, I thought you said DuckTales. I was thinking. They did have a Didn't he have a Scottish accent?
You never noticed that. Why is it when the BBC make all these scientific programs, I mean, about 8% of the time, the main character in these scientific, they're all Scottish. You know what I mean? It's as if Scotland invented fucking science in Britain or something. You know what I mean? Which is not fucking true. The great scientific fucking inventors are all been Italian and fucking Portuguese.
Hey,
and
Tersh, can you do me a favor? Tersh, can you do me a favor? Can you say a phrase for me? Can you say, do it, and let the English see you do it?
Aye, do it. Let the English see you do it.
That's cool.
What is
as
that
fuck.
from?
That's from Braveheart. He goes,
Oh.
do it, and let the
I've-
English see you do it.
I fucking knew. I knew you were gonna make a Braveheart reference.
Can you say we didn't get dressed up for nothing?
We didn't get dressed up for nothing.
Now he sounds like he has a pirate accent in it.
I know. Everybody didn't get dressed up for nothing. That's awesome.
The only thing I know about Scotland, well, I read a bunch of I don't know if you've ever heard of the Outlander books. It has a lot of.
No, that's racist.
Huh?
Here's an unknown, I'm thinking it will be unknown knowledge to you, but Scotland has some of the oldest recorded historical buildings in the world. 12,000-year-old. In the north of Scotland, we have got buildings that were built of stone blocks, you know what I mean? And Scarabray it's called. You can look it up and Google it. Scarabray. 12,000-year-old buildings, you know what I mean? Communities, we were educated and living on a very high, protein diet at the time, you know what I mean? This was before you had, the great Roman Empire and all that, 12,000 years ago, you know what I mean? Scotland had people living in communities, you know what I mean? Building stone buildings, you know what I mean? Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, I was reading. My heritage is like massively Irish on both sides of my family. I've got a lot of Irish in my blood, and I was reading a book on their history. It's very, very interesting. Ireland has literally been plagued by war since they founded the island. Like literally, as soon as they got on the island, it's been nothing but war and conflict since they got there, up until now, even with the IRA and all that crap going on.
Yeah,
I
but
just
that's,
think it's
Same
interesting
thing
how
for America. It's only been like 20 years we haven't been at war.
Yeah, but dude, this is different. Like, I mean, like massive, violent infighting, not just like going to war with another country. I mean, massive infighting amongst each other between different tribes, just murder, mayhem. Since the inception of the island, it's been marked by that. Like, just you have to read the book.
The interfighting between the clans in Scotland was how England defeated us. England came to Scotland and they says divide and conquer, because they already knew the Scottish clans hated each other and had been at war with each other for thousands of years before the English came here. You know what I mean? So all the English did was fuel the fire, and they did the same when the English were. When you look at how Britain became Great Britain, how the English made an empire that spans a third or two-thirds of the land mass of the world. They did it by understanding the conflicts between the populace of the country they were going to invade. And
You said the pot roast of the country?
When they invaded them, they used divide and conquer. They did it in India, they did it in Africa, they did it in Scotland, they did it in Wales. England was a huge power. I mean, they're crap now. I mean, Britain is crap now compared to America and Russia and all that shit. But England did this at a time when people were still fucking rowing around the world in rowing boats. They conquered the world, you know what I mean?
I didn't understand a word you said there. It sounded like you said they didn't understand the pot roast.
No, I'm saying the English conquered the world at a time when most of the world were rowing boats around the oceans, you know. And it's all very well for America to say that, they're a fantastic, nation and all that, But when you go to America is standing on the shoulders of all the nations that went before.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think as far as America's greatness, I wouldn't make that claim now, right? And even in America's greatness, it's more like a modern thing, right? It's not like a huge, massive lineage like Scotland has.
Especially with the history. I mean,
Right.
is there any wonder why American conservatives don't want students to learn the fullness of American history? Because given our history, it kind of sucks ass.
Well,
we're such a young country.
Right. I'm conservative. I'm completely fine with our country teaching American children the true nature of how the country was founded. I think that to not do so would be non-American, right?
Yeah. But here's the thing. It's starting off with land stealing, exploitation, slavery, and like. I mean, the reason they don't tend to like it is because it doesn't necessarily show conservative ideals necessarily panning out so well, but that America is
I can agree with that.
has a culture of progressive change.
You're absolutely you're absolutely correct. I agree with that, and I'll be the first one to say that conservatives, well, not just conservatives, but especially conservatives, are really big on propaganda. Like it's the God and country type thing, pledge allegiance to America, that sort of thing, and I'm really careful about that because I think it's dangerous to have people to attempt to brainwash them for the purposes of propping up a country. I mean, we saw that in 1940s Germany, right? But on the other hand, too, I do think that our country is great compared to the rest of the world. We have a lot of stuff we need to have changed, right? Our court system, our legal system is one of them. I think it's terrible. If you step into a court system, you'll hear logical fallacies, probably 80 of them.
I can give you an argument against everything you can say that makes your country great.
Okay, let's have it.
Well, make a claim, and I can make an argument against it, because you stand on the shoulders of the countries that went before. You have not made anything yourselves. What you've done.
No country has. There's no country. There's no country in the world. There's no country.
We're sort of. Well, hold on. Our country is essentially the best that Enlightenment principles can produce.
Right, exactly.
So,
Right, that, and look, there is no country in the world that exists, that has existed, that has not stood on the shoulders of giants. Whether that be, I'm sorry, but whether that be Scotland, Ireland, whether it be China, no country pops in and out of existence having all of the virtues necessary to create a great society. No, I'm not proving your point. I'm agreeing.
You are no better than any nation that's gone before.
Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting, and I'll actually take you up on that challenge, because I don't see people trying to run across the border to get into Russia or China or any other European or Britain.
But then you are thrown into the fallacy of time. You are thrown into the fallacy of America at the moment is the greatest nation that people want to go.
That's what I'm talking about.
When America didn't exist, where were people running before America?
Other places, I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that.
So you are not any better than any nation that's went before you. That
is such a complete non sequitur. It's not even funny.
He's talking from a pragmatic perspective. That's the point, not from. I mean, of course we're not perfect. I mean it's not like we're saying we're perfect. I mean, we're subject to be better. That's the point. I mean, in fact, I even mentioned the whole idea of progress is the fact that we have to change. In the sense of being more adaptable to our world, because that's how we get great in the first place.
Absolutely. I will say though that I think in the past, and this is just my opinion, go figure as a conservative Christian apologist, I do think that our country you probably know what I'm going to say. I do think that our country in the past 10 years has seen such a degradation, it just befuddles me. Like I'm absolutely...
Yeah, and it's been caused by people like you, fundamentalist Christians.
Right, that's very interesting, considering the fact that the country over the past 10 years has been pretty much ruled by the liberal left, non-Christians.
Hold on. Right, what? The Republican right wing have just won everything in the Congress, everything in the Senate. The only thing they don't have is the the White House. And the liberal left has controlled America. Are you kidding me?
I know. That sounds ridiculous to me.
Are you okay? So take a poll. Go look at the polls 10 years ago. Okay.
Hold on. I just want. I don't want me to interrupt you, Jacob. I just want to point this out right quick. The liberal left didn't necessarily want the government to be shut down twice. Just throwing that out there.
I'm not saying that one party like the conservatives is free of charge, right? My conservative party has screwed up just like everyone else has. I don't even consider the conservative party right now conservative. To be honest with you, if you were to look at the conservative party now as compared to like 30 years ago, it's something completely different. I'm conservative in the sense that I hold certain conservative values, and I take what I think is logical and moral from the conservative party, and I take what's liberal that I think is virtuous and moral, and I'm sort of a mesh of both, but I'm more a mesh of conservative rather than I am liberal as a Christian theist. But my point was that if you take
hold on, let him finish.
If you take if you take a poll from, like, say 10 years ago on certain issues that say your average Christian theist like myself would disagree with, such as homosexual marriage or legalizing drugs, that sort of thing, which obviously me and my worldview I would consider to be a degradation of the country, it's vastly well known over the past 10 years there's been a dramatic rise in support for those things. So when I say that our country has gone down a path of degradation, in your terms, what I'm really saying is that more of the populace, including those in power, are in favor of certain social policies that I consider to be a negative for the country. I mean, is anyone in here really going to disagree with me that the idea of gay marriage is not more popular now than it was when President Bush was in office?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, okay, but here's the thing. Given the publicly verifiable evidence,
Does it matter that people like gay people? Does it matter that gay people get married?
Oh, yeah, but anyway, what we're trying to say here, like, given the publicly verifiable evidence being what, I mean, we don't really have any empirical reason for why these things are really a degradation. I mean, as far as we understand, it's completely natural and really doesn't, you know, affect anything within these particular regards. So, I mean,
right. Well, that's a separate issue, though. Like, and I understand what you're saying, right? From your worldview, I totally understand. That's a completely separate issue. What I'm saying is that what I'm hoping we're finding neutral ground on is the fact that we understand that the most of society, at least it appears so, at least media has made it seem as if most of society has adopted more liberal social policies over the past 10 years. That society is more liberal now than it was 10 years ago.
Could I agree with you there?
Correct. Yeah. Yes. Granted. Granted.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And now, can I have a minute? Can I just have a minute to say something?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to listen to you on my wireless. I'm going to go pee and then have a smoke, but I'll be listening to you. So go ahead.
Okay, right. You know, so what I'm about to say is, and it won't be devastating or anything, but yeah, the fact is that over the last 10 years, people have become more liberal. We are more liberal. The reason being, people tend to, you know, graduate towards things that work, you know, and even though over the last 30, 40 years, conservative governments have said that trickle-down economics work, we have got the figures now. Over the last 40 years, the figures are in. Trickle-down economics don't work. You have to borrow and spend, but you can't go crazy with it. You've got to borrow money and you've got to invest it in infrastructure. You've got to invest it in creating jobs, proper jobs that people get, not fly-by-night jobs, you know what I mean, which you have for 3 months and then, bang, there's a pipeline there and you're not needed anymore. You know, we need real fucking jobs because our population is increasing and the amount of work for people is decreasing. Because we are, for all intents and purposes, becoming more technological in our outlook. So we have more robots doing work that 10 people used to do. So how do we employ those 10 unemployed people so they don't become robbers, thieves, and fucking car stealers? You know what I mean? We have to fucking look towards changing the way that we look at our society. You know what I mean? We can't all be fucking oil workers. We can't all be fucking CEOs or bankers. We need to create jobs in the economy, you know what I mean? And the problem we have is we have went towards building prisons and putting people in jail rather than creating work and employing people and taxing them. But it's so simple. We just gravitate away from prisons, you know what I mean, and gravitate towards work and tax. If we do that, we can have a better society than we have today. Not a perfect society, we're never going to get there, but a better society is what I'm saying, you know what I mean. You're never going to get that with a Republican because they're always going to want to give you 3 strikes and you're out. That's what Republican conservatives want. That's why liberals make money when they're in government. Every time you've had a democratic fucking president, you've increased the amount of people employed. You've increased the amount of what do you call it? Wall Street, it went up. Every time Republicans come in, they borrow and they expand the government. Although they can't, we've got to shrink the government. it's the Republicans that expand the government. And it's the Republicans who keep trying to fucking cheat on you and listening on your fucking phone calls. You know what I mean?
So what you're saying is you're a conservative.
No, what I'm saying is I'm a Democrat. Well, I'm a socialist. I don't even believe in democratic principles. I'm a complete socialist.
You're a socialist?
Yeah, I'm a socialist. I live in Scotland. I'm a socialist. I believe that people should have control of the money that is taxed from them and how it's spent. That's what I believe. Not the government shouldn't be able to spend on fucking bombs and airplanes when you need to build schools and hospitals.
I'm sorry to tell you, but without bombs and airplanes, without men who are willing to sacrifice their lives to defend your country, you will have no schools. You will have no hospitals. You will have no stock market. You will have no GDP. You will have no jobs. You will have no currency. You will have no country.
I understand.
The one undeniable fact is that man tends to want to subjugate his neighbor. Man also tends to want to inflict violence upon his neighbor. And because of that, and because it's like the argument for gun control, right? That we just need to get rid of all guns, period. Well, here's the thing. As long as there are people who exist who will use guns in order to inflict violence on other people, the people who are having the violence inflicted upon them unjustly should be able to defend themselves. And likewise, it's not unthinkable for a government to have certain parameters to protect itself, or its interests, rather, from other countries. I think it's a very valuable, and I think it's a very cost-worthy investment.
Well, Jacob, I think you're a complete idiot, and I think you should Google gun claim in the UK. Just go right now, Google gun claim in the UK. We don't have any guns.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to think that I'm an idiot. I understand.
You can get a license for shotgun or for a pistol to go and shoot it, but you're not allowed to carry it about on your person or walk about the street with it. Look at the gun claim in Britain per head of population, and then compare that to America, and then you tell me whether everybody having a gun or having a license to have a gun makes sense. Just you tell me.
Well, yeah, I'll do that. Will you do something for me if I do that for you? Will you look up the amount of the statistics on knife violence in the UK? See, this is the fallacy. This is the fallacy.
That's the thing. Knife crime is nowhere near as deadly.
Look, I can't have a conversation with this guy.
Because you would probably find it pretty much the same per head of population.
Okay, so this is the fallacy. This is
fucking gun crime in Britain the same as America. So
this is the fallacy. This is the fallacy. This is the fallacy. Okay, so this is the fallacy that's often expounded in the issue of gun control, right? The idea is, well, if you get rid of guns, right, gun violence will go down. I agree with that. I agree with that, right? I'm not disputing that whatsoever. Gun violence very well may go down. But here's the thing. The issue is not whether people are killed with a specific item. The issue is whether people are killed, period. So as many statistics...
No, I think you're wrong. I think it's about being killed by a specific item.
Right, so you're more than welcome to have that opinion, and I respect that. But the issue is not an instrument issue. It's not a by which way you kill the person. The issue is it's a heart issue, right? So as many people that would kill with a gun would be the same type of people that would also kill with a fist, would be the same type of people that would also kill with a knife. So it's not logical to ban guns through law. It's just not. This is why. Criminals do not follow laws. They don't. Criminals don't follow laws.
It's not criminals that are shooting people. It's fucking ordinary citizens that are shooting each other because they've got a fucking gun they shouldn't fucking have. You fucking idiot. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry. Are you suggesting that people who kill people are not criminals?
What was that?
I have no clue.
Don't know. I'd like to say that, I mean, if we do get rid of guns, yes, we would have a increase in other type of crimes. But, I mean, how many people would have been killed at that movie theater if the guy ran in there with 5 knives?
Who knows?
How many people
man?
would have been killed at Sandy Hook if he had a knife?
Right.
Exactly what I'm saying. He's pulling this shit out his fucking ass, right? There's no way that you can turn around and say that gun violence is totally fucking, you know, any way you can, you know, make a judgment between that and knife violence or somebody getting punched and dying. Because I can punch you in the nose and force the fucking, you know, the bridge of your nose into your brain and kill you if I hit you in the right way. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? That would be an accidental death because I might have intended to hurt you, but I didn't intend to kill you. But if I point a gun at your fucking head and pull the trigger, I intend to fucking blow your brain out. That's murder. You know what I mean?
Guns are made for one thing: killing.
Different fucking thing. So don't conflate shit together. Is what I'm saying. And you keep a Republican Christian fundamentalist. You keep conflating shit together. You have got no idea how to understand the humanity of a real person being something you should love. You think you should only love them if they believe the same shit.
I'm not making the argument that knives. I'm not making the argument that knives are more dangerous than guns. That would be ridiculous, right? That would be absolutely ridiculous. What I'm trying to get through to you is that this is not an instrument issue. It's a heart issue, right? Now, it very well may be that if no guns existed, less people would die, right? I'm not making that dispute. Here's the problem. The problem is that, number one, you're never going to get rid of all guns. It will not happen. Period. You will never do it. It's not going to happen. And because of that, because there are bad men, because there are bad people who like to take guns and kill other people, those people who are in danger of doing so have a right to defend themselves by the same means.
But if you reduce the number of guns, then that will severely cripple criminals' ability to get their hands on those weapons.
Yeah, no,
they're just not. I mean, because anybody can go
that,
down
right?
and buy a gun at Walmart right now with
sure,
no
they
record
can.
check, no nothing. Just go pick up
Sure.
a shotgun and take it out and go shooting.
Sure. Now here's the problem. How do you distinguish between
There's
the
no
crazy
problem.
How do you distinguish between a crazy person and the person who just wants to go out and go target shooting?
The same way
That's why we implement deep background checks for all these things.
And I'm for that. I'm for that.
All these things have been solved. We do it in Europe. We do it in Europe very, very fucking well. There's very few people get shot in Europe, and yet, if you want to have a gun in Europe, you apply for a license and you get a gun. The problem with America is people don't want to apply for a fucking license. What's wrong with applying for a license and being known to hold a gun? What's wrong with our register?
Well, the moment that I feel like America needs to take its social policy advice from Europe, I'll get a hold of you on that. But as it stands,
Yeah, you can throw that joke out there, but the whole point is...
That's not a joke, I'm dead serious.
It's not about being European, it's about being human. I don't want my kid being shot in the fucking park by cops who fucking dash in there, know what I mean, and don't know what the fuck they're doing because they've not been trained, and he's walking about with a plastic gun which is legal for him to buy, but they think it's a real gun, and he gets fucking shot, you know what I mean? I don't want my kid to die like that. I don't know about you, but do you think your kid might be playing in the park and get shot accidentally?
Oh, sure.
I don't know. I mean,
It's impossible.
do you want that to fucking happen?
No, not at all. Not at all.
But are you willing to do something about it, or are you willing to sit there and say, "Oh, there's no fucking problem"? The way America runs today is fucking perfectly okay. There's nothing we need to do.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that. You're straw manning me.
This fucking thing.
You're straw manning me now. I never said that. I never once said there wasn't a problem, and I never once said I wasn't going to, you know, I wasn't.
You've never said what you could do to fix anything.
Okay, well, I mean, you're welcome to have that opinion. I'm for very deep background checks. I think it's a great idea. I think people who are mentally ill shouldn't own a gun. I just don't take the hardcore liberal approach that we should take all the guns. Excuse me. Should not take all guns from all people because the government can't take all guns from all people. They can only take guns from those people who are not willing to be criminals. So, in other words, criminals do not follow the law. So when the government passes a law, when the government passes a law that says something, when the government passes a law that says something to the effect of X person can't own a gun, where X person. So when they enact a law that says something to the effect of X person cannot own a gun, and X person is every person, and every person cannot own a gun. Here's the problem. Only people who follow the law will in fact follow that law. So what you end up happening are tons of criminals who don't give a crap about the law still carrying guns, and you have the folks who are willing to follow the law giving their guns up. So ultimately you're turning folks into game, basically.
That's just like saying a locked door only stops criminals.
No. How does that say that? How does that say that?
That's what I got from what you're saying.
Well, explain it to me. I mean, do you not think if I had a gun that my chances are much higher to defend myself from another person with a gun? After all, you guys just made the argument. Excuse me. You guys just made the argument that guns were more powerful than knives. So after all, if someone wants to kill me with a gun, do I not stand a higher chance because guns are more powerful than knives to defend myself against?
If less likely he's going to have a gun, then you don't need to have a gun either. That's what we did in Britain. We made it less likely that someone on your property, would have a gun because we made it harder for him to have a gun. You in America are making it easier and easier for everybody to have a gun. Therefore, everybody's going to have a gun. You're going in the wrong direction, is what I'm saying. You're going in a more dangerous direction rather than going in a safer direction. And if you can't see that, Jacob, I don't understand what's going on in your brain. You know what I mean?
Let me guess. That safer direction is the good old comfort and security of your own government, right?
Well, that's another thing.
Yeah, we've seen that in action.
Could I ask you something?
Sure.
What about if the state passes a law and the government, the federal government passes a different law?
That's happened tons.
So, because this is what happens all the fucking time. So, what law? When you say laws on this and laws on that, what law are you talking? Are you talking about state law or are you talking about government law? Because I don't know. I can't trust going into your state because I don't know whether your state follows government law, federal law, or whether it's got its own fucking law about guns, and I might get shot going to a fucking ATM for fucking...
Could you move around a little bit more? I couldn't see you there for a second. It looks like you were going...
Well, yeah, I might have been doing that, but I'm just saying, I'm really scared about visiting America because you are so gun-fucking-ho for guns. You know what I mean?
You know why that is. You know what I mean? You know why that is. Our country... Don't
get me wrong.
I don't know about your country. I don't know about your country. Excuse me. I don't know about your country, but our country was founded on the love of guns, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't think your country was founded on the love of guns.
That's interesting. That's
it was founded on the love of freedom. And the fucking gun groups got in there and
that's very interesting considering the fact that in our own constitution and our own documents that our founders in fact created did in fact incorporate certain documents that entitled citizens to the right to own firearms. I think that's very interesting.
They also have counted black people as not a full person, so they're not always correct throughout time.
I didn't say they were. I didn't say what I said.
So your argument is
No, I did not say that. I did not say that.
I know, but I've made him.
Hey, one at a time, guys.
One at a time. Seriously. So, Token was saying something?
Well, Jacob seems to be a good dominator of conversation, so he should go on some more.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'm the dominator of the conversation here?
No, comedian. I'm not.
Dude, I've been trying to get through William Wallace over there for like the past hour and a half.
I love your fucking comedic name calling. It's amusing tactic there.
I mean, we've been calling him. We've been calling him.
Max suddenly back automatically.
With all due respect,
Where have you been, man?
With all due respect, a tactic like that implies that I have to use some sort of sneaky way to get past a clever argument. And with all due respect, I've not heard any. What I've heard is a lot of rants. What I've heard is a lot of butt hurts. What I've heard is a lot of emotionalism. But I've heard no logical arguments.
Oh, okay, King Logic. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I've never been called King Logic before.
I've got to laugh at him saying he's heard no logical arguments. I did say earlier, compare, compare, as in, what happened here and what happened there. Compare the deaths from guns, per head of population. I even said that, per head of population. That means it's going to be, if you've got a town of, 1,500 people, it's going to be comparative to 1,500 people over here. Comparable, you know what I mean? And you'll find that shit on Google. You'll get that shit on Google, you know what I mean? Gun deaths in the UK and America. Knife deaths, because you brought up knives, in America and in Britain. And, by the way, I would also like to death by bludgeoning, right? Because a lot of people get bludgeoned to death in Britain. Actually punching someone, pugilistic fucking punching someone in the face is considered bludgeoning. And some people get punched to death in Britain, you know what I mean? Because we prefer to fucking fight face to face, not stand off and shoot someone with a fucking gun like a fucking coward. America is so brave, you know what I mean? It's a brave fucking nation of guns.
We are.
They won't fucking
we are a brave nation.
And punch someone in the face. And
excuse me. We are a brave nation. You know how I know we're a brave nation? This is how I know we're a brave nation. Well, number one, I don't see Scotland. I don't see Scotland involved in the world's problems or attempting to provide massive amounts of aid to people.
You think that?
Natural disaster.
You think that? Then you're fucking wrong because you haven't gone on the internet and fucking looked it up. Most of what the British people donate, you know what I mean? Not by government, but stuff that's non-GMOs comes from Scotland. We're a giving fucking nation, you fucking wanker. You know what I mean?
That's good. I'm really glad that your nation is involved in giving non-GMO foods. That's good for your country. Awesome.
Anyway, I believe the context of the right to bear arms it's more contextual to the time. I mean, it says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms should not be infringed. That's, like I said in the chat, it's in the context as of a militia, as of what the time called for.
Now, see,
that's not relevant to nowadays. Do we need a militia? Do we need a militia nowadays? No. We have
that's a logical argument. That is a logical. Did you guys make a logical argument? Did you?
They can have as many fucking.
Did you? I tip my hat to you. That is a logical argument.
Guys, let's wait before we're done, before we start talking simultaneously and shit. Jay, go ahead, finish your point.
Nah, I'm good.
I'm just saying they can have as many fucking muskets as they want. They just can't have a fucking automatic fucking 50 caliber fucking machine gun that they can attach to the front of the helicopter. You know what I mean? Or or a rocket launcher that can fucking shoot down a fucking B-52. You know, they're not allowed to have that. They can have as many fucking, you know, muskets as they fucking want, because that's what they were talking about back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one rifle for everyone. I think that would be fine. I mean, do we really need assault rifles and handguns?
Well, I mean, handguns.
I mean, but who's giving it to these people? Because they're getting it from somewhere.
They're purchasing them. They're not being given them. They're purchasing them.
Okay, but no, I'm saying they're getting these things from like very easily accessible. And if you're gonna, I mean,
Walmart.
Even if you
it's like getting game. It's like getting games 50% off. You know what I mean? You go and join your local gun club and you get 50% off your fucking local handgun. You know what I mean?
Dude, they give out guns for like as like a special for stores in Texas.
Yep.
I'm particularly a fan of the revolver because it doesn't jam. That's why like you just aim, fire, and iron like the classic 6 rounds and then reload again.
But that's it. I mean, you don't hunt with a pistol. You hunt with a rifle. I mean, pistols and assault rifles and anything, you know, greater than that, I feel, I mean, why should we have access to those? What are they good for except for killing people? You don't need an AR-15 to defend your house, or an Uzi to defend your house, or a MAC-10 to defend your house.
What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do when the bears start rising? They're creeping, okay?
Well, that's a separate issue, sir.
Look,
That's a separate issue, sir.
No, the issue of why that was put into the Constitution or put into the documents rather, is very simple. It's because the founders of our country anticipated there could be a day in which our country became the oppressor. The idea wasn't just for a militia to protect it. Was not just. Excuse me. The idea was not just for a militia to protect itself from another country. I mean, after all, it was well known a militia can't necessarily just the militia defend itself from a large country, right? Now, the idea was that we have guns to protect ourselves from many things. One of them was wildlife. One of them was, in fact, criminals. The other two was just in case the government itself became oppressive. That was one of the reasons why. You read out throughout the Constitution, throughout the documents written by these people, they were well aware of the corruption of man. This is why when the country was founded, it was founded and made with checks and balances of power. The legislative branch, the executive branch, etc., the judicial branch, all throughout the Constitution and the documents are these checks in case the government became corrupt, and that is one of them. That's one of them. So to say that the context of that document was just for that time, I think doesn't follow, because when you read the context of the entire document, it in fact is speaking to the corruption of man and the corruption of government and the dangers of such and the rights of the people to protect themselves in case that should happen. I'm going to go take a smoke.
Well,
I've just got to say this. I'm British, right? I'm a British person. I'm Scottish. The Scottish people fought the English for 400 years. You know what I mean? And we ended up being dominated by the English, right? And now I look at America and I thought people in America understood their constitution. I thought they understood that they stood on the shoulders of the Arbroath fucking treaty that was sent to fucking Rome and other such documents in Europe. This person doesn't seem to understand a single thing about fucking history. You know what I mean? What the fuck happened in America when America decided that they were going to go to war with each other? Not fighting and becoming independent. When they fought each other. What was the oh my God! Did this guy even understand what he's talking about when he's talking about the documents that were written by these people?
I mean, and how relevant would it be to today's standards in society anyway? I mean, really, a militia of the people going up against the military?
Does he understand what he's talking about, though, when in connotation? and connotation with the Americans, North and South fighting each other. Does he understand what he's fucking talking about? And I've got to say, a lot of the people who are now sitting in the Senate and the House and the Senate in America, they need to ask themselves that same question. Do they understand the connotations between defeating an English king and then what they are doing now with their own president? And my God, I look at America and I laugh and I cry at the fucking same time. You have so much potential, but disaster looms over the edge of every fucking decision.
Hey, if the religious laws get any worse in this country, I'm coming to see you, bud.
Don't worry, secular America will remain absolute.
America has got such promise, man, but when you get people like this fucking talking about it, when you get people like that Thomas fucking wanker, no. It used to be that the Senate and the Congress would never speak about anything outside the borders of America. That was the president's domain. And that was, the Republicans would tell you that. To the borders of the country and no further. But now they're making declarations, they're inviting fucking speakers from Israel to come and speak against
Paul, let me ask you a question.
America, you are heading
let me ask you a question.
Another battle, between the north and south. What's going on with you, man?
Paul,
sort this shit out. You know what
Paul, let me ask you a question. What do you think runs? What do you think are the two biggest things that run our economy? Well, not economy, but basically account for, the
oil and guns, man. Simple as that. Oil and guns, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah. Yeah, but aside from the stuff we're getting, like that there's also the military. I mean, the majority, like at least half of the population, the American population, work in the military, not just for the free college benefits, but also we sort of build up the whole idea of young Americans serving their country in some type of war.
Right, but they're building the airplanes, they're building the jeeps, they're building the tanks, they're making the guns, they're making the ammunition. I understand what you're saying. They're all employed in the military, fucking, and you were warned about that by